Health and fitness with David Hollywood.
With DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Lightning fast delivery and unbeatable service at dssports.ie.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the programme. Health and Fitness went on the road last weekend. If you listen to the show regularly, you may recall the chat we had with Laois Sean Bennett. He's a wheelchair hurling all-star winning goalkeeper for Leinster, and he invited us to the Leinster leg of their interprovincial competition. You'll be brought right into the competitive heart of this brilliant sport very shortly. After that, with Olympic fever gripping the nation, we begin looking forward to this year's Paralympic Games with one of our very own who will be competing in Paris. And we hear about the remarkable fundraiser that's seeing a dialysis machine being brought from Dublin across the Midlands all the way to Galway this week. First up, though, I'm bringing you to the Mercy Secondary School in Kilbeggan. That's where the latest round of the interprovincial wheelchair hurling event has been taking place. I went down there to see what the sport is really like. Let's start off by meeting one of Leinster's competitors. This is Tommy White from Portlaoise. He's been telling me how he got involved.
There's contact in it, so it's a good game, and it's a fast game, skillful game, and I'm playing it about 4 or 5 years now at this stage.
Okay, and where did you first hear about it?
I used to play hurling with my club Paralympic in Laois, and so I was always interested in playing hurling, and so I got involved. Sean Bennett got me involved in it. So,
yeah, Sean got me here as well, as it turns out.
Nice.
He's a good advocate for the sport. So Sean got you, managed to give you the insight that this was going on, and after your first go of it, did you think, this is something that I want to keep doing?
Absolutely, yeah. And at the start, I wasn't great, and my fitness levels were way down where they should be, to compete. But over the years now, I'm after improving a good bit, and at this stage now, I'm starting to make the team where I wasn't at the start.
Very good.
So I can see the progress in myself, and it's great. You meet loads and loads of different people as well.
Well, that's what I've noticed. You've got the 4 provinces, obviously, and it doesn't matter how far away they're coming from. You all know each other.
Yeah.
There's a warm welcome for everyone when they come in the door. There's only 4 or 5 of these on over the course of the year, so you must all really look forward to them.
Yeah, it's always a great occasion, and Pat Lynham and Brian Carberry are our guys that run it for us, and Shane is our new coach this year. Came in as a new coach from Leinster, so he's doing the coaching at the moment, and we train every Friday night in Mountmellick.
Tell us about the training then, because from what I understand, you guys could do it more players. So if there was anyone who's in a chair who wants to get back active, for instance, or anything like that, you guys would welcome them.
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking for new players all the time, and everybody's welcome to come and try it out. And if they don't like it, that's fine. They don't have to stay coming, and just try it out and see what they think. It's the very same as hurling as normal, only it's on it's ground hurling basically, and you score points, goals, and it's great crack, brilliant. And
so between the social side of things and the physical side of things, what do you enjoy the most yourself?
The games, basically, yeah. When you come and you're part of a team again, I used to play with my club Park Ratanesca, football and hurling, and that all finished when I had my accident back in 2014. So about 2 years later, I heard of this wheelchair hurling through Sean, and I started it, and haven't looked back since.
How much of a difference did it make to get involved in it for your own sort of mental health?
Absolutely, it made a huge difference, because it got me out of the house, it got me back active into sport again, and I look forward to going every week to training. So what we're really looking to do though is to try and get more players involved, and I'd love to see anybody that's in a wheelchair or has a disability. You don't have to be in a wheelchair. You can have it could be an amputee or something like that. Once you have a disability and come and try it out.
The Junior Minister for Sport was on hand as well to open up this round of games in Kilbeggan. After the first game, where Munster registered an impressive win over their hosts Leinster, I asked Minister Thomas Byrne what he thought of the action he'd just witnessed and how important sports participation is for people with disabilities.
Well, it is pretty intense competition and it's great to see, but as I said, participation is really my number one priority as Minister for Sport. So even when you look at the Olympics and indeed the Paralympics, what are you trying to do? You're trying to show off and support our top athletes as they go on to participate, but also to win, but to inspire other people then to take part. And we have targets to increase participation to 60% of the adult population. It's at 47. It has gone up a bit, but if we're to get to that 60%, we have to use every lever that we have and encourage every single group in society to be more active and to take part in sport. And that means you have to support them, you have to fund it, you have to make sure the facilities are suitable as well. So that's what drives me as Minister.
How secure is that plan going forward? There'll be a general election in the next number of weeks or months or whatever it is. Is this something that will be in place regardless of the government or coalition that is in place themselves?
Well, look, it's our policy and we want to protect that policy, and that's why it'll be, and all the wide range of other policies as well. We've seen what this government has done, including in sport and in other areas of society as well. I want to protect that and I want to make sure it continues because it's not guaranteed to continue. One of my biggest priorities is the Sports Capital Programme that is designed to help clubs right in the grassroots of this country, up and down in villages and towns in Westmeath and Laois and Offaly, everywhere. Some of the opposition want to abolish the Sports Capital Programme, so it's really important that we protect our facilities, make sure they're here, but also make sure they're accessible to as many people as possible. So one of the criteria we have with the Sports Capital Fund is what are you doing for people with disabilities? How does this facility help people with disabilities participate in sport? That's a key criteria, and I know that clubs up and down the country are making efforts to make sure that everybody is included in sport.
A word on today itself. Fantastic atmosphere here. It's there's a special feeling in the air considering just the amount of positivity and everyone enjoying the competition so much.
Well, look, it's a serious competition. It's great to see. It's representative competition as well in terms of people are representing their provinces and have good support here. They train hard, they work hard, and the skills are on display here as well. And I think it's so important because, as I said, we have a gender gap, for example, between male and females in participation, but that's narrowed massively in recent years, and we've done a lot of work on that. And I'm prioritising now in narrowing what I call the disability gap. The difference in participation between the general population and people with disabilities has to be narrowed, and we're going to be using a lot of levers to do that, including more funding with Sport Ireland, and to make sure that Sport Ireland and our sports organisations up and down the country are prioritising sport for people with disabilities.
Ulster and Connacht about to throw in. We've just seen Munster and Leinster. A final question, I suppose, whether it's wheelchair hurling or hurling otherwise. Munster have some special talent when it comes to the small ball.
They have, yeah, and that's evident here today, to be fair to them. They're very good, but look, this is something that I'm absolutely convinced will only grow, and especially sports with people with disability will only grow. I'm really looking forward to the Paralympics, which are obviously an integral part of the sporting summer this year, and how that should continue to inspire people to take part in sport, whatever their ability or their disability, and that includes the GAA sports as well, which are really, really important in this country.
Pat Leinster, I'm chairman of the Leinster GAA Games for All committee. It's sport for all, really. And I mean, the Minister in his speech earlier spoke about, that sports for all and diversity and everything should be part of every community. And we're very happy in the GAA to promote that and provide the facilities, provide the coaches, provide everything else. As far as we can, I'm sure other organisations do it as well. Now, what you're seeing today is a different branch of our thing. Is the wheelchair hurling, which is a very unique a game in our country is hurling, and this is it's hurling and lads in wheelchairs.
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on today. We're in Mercy Secondary School in Kilbeggan.
Yeah.
from a Leinster perspective, it's the home game. From your own perspective, you can see from the Westmeath hat on as well, this will be your home territory. What's it feel like to be here today and for Kilbeggan and Westmeath to be hosting this particular interprovincial round of games?
I'm sure I'm delighted. Like, I'm from Kilbeggan. I went to school here. I went to school down the road, and I never thought we'd be able to bring the interprovincial blitz to here. But sure, the school opened. Garrett Farrell and his staff here were very, very helpful and happy that we would come. And Donald Fox, who works here, has been super to us.
What about the chairperson of Westmeath GA? Was he impressed with what he saw?
Yeah, I'm very, very surprised how competitive it is. They really, really take it serious. It has everything that a GA hurling game, and they're querying the rules. Everything is checked out. Great emotion on the sideline, and on the pitch, fantastic commitment. Huge endeavour by both. I've seen the 4 teams now in action, and a surprise result there in that second game, I believe. But yeah, brilliant.
Shane Murphy from Offaly. I'm coach of the Leinster wheelchair hurling team and a GPO in Offaly with KK and Bor.
Let's talk about what's going on today then. Leinster have had a tough season in this interprovincial wheelchair hurling, and a couple of close calls in some of these games today as well.
Yeah, it's been very tight. I suppose our biggest hurdle is recruitment. As you see there, Ulster have big numbers, Munster have big numbers. We're kind of balancing the whole thing with 8 or 9 bodies. Games are tough, bodies get tired, and we don't have the strength and depth, you know what I mean? And that's how we're coming up short in every game, really.
What does occur to me looking at the 8 or 9 that you do have here is that they're personally so committed to this sport and the team, and it seems like yourself and Pat and the management team really super committed to trying to win these games as well.
Yeah, listen, the lads are very committed, and as I said, we have a small pool to pick from, even though Leinster's so big. We're basically picking with one guy from Kilkenny, one from Offaly, two from Laois. No, sorry, 3 from Laois. So we're not getting the Wexfords, we're not getting the Carlows, we're not getting the Kilkennys to a degree. So it's tough. I suppose that boils down to, as I said, trying to recruit. Maybe we train every Friday night in Mount Mellick. Very hard to expect somebody maybe down in Carlow to travel the whole way up to Mount Mellick, or even Alex there. Alex comes from the Kilkenny Waterford border. Big commitment, get into a car, come up an hour and a half up the road for an hour and a half session, and then face back into it. That's our biggest hurdle, really and truly. That's the biggest hurdle. Yeah.
Talk to us about what you get out of it then, because I can see on the touchline, you're completely into it and really trying to drive the team on. Where'd you get that motivation?
I suppose, listen, you're asked to do a job, and it's like anything in life. You're asked to do something, you go and you get indebted into it, and you give it everything. Listen, involved with teams across the board, not just this team, and it's the same every day I go out. There's that will to win. Losing isn't nice, but cruel, or sport can be cruel at times. Just indebted to me. I just like to win. I like to compete. I like to get to the top of the tree. Final question then is the value of wheelchair hurling to people who get to compete in it. What have you observed in your time coaching these players? It's massive. It's inclusion. Everybody in every walk of life deserves to compete at whatever they want to. And it's massive to the lads there. They get to, it's competition. It's competitive competition, and it just, everybody gets a chance. Listen, we look back last week, we see Clare, All-Ireland champions. This here today is every bit as much as good as last Sunday in Croke Park. These guys here, they want to win. Ulster want to win, Connacht want to win, Leinster want to win. We all want to win and compete at the highest level, and it's just massive that everybody gets a chance and is included. Do you have one more game left? We play Connacht next, so hopefully we get over the line.
After the break, we'll hear from the Connacht and Ulster camps about what it means to represent your province and what kind of adventures it takes to get to the Midlands from Ulster.
Health and fitness.
With DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Experience lightning fast delivery and unbeatable service for all your sporting needs at DS Sports. With gear ready in as little as 5 days. Contact 085 87 15 311 or info@dsports.ie.
Midlands 103.
Welcome back. This evening we're covering the latest round of the interprovincial wheelchair hurling competition. The event was hosted by Leinster GAA last weekend. So, Mercy Secondary School in Kilbeggan was the destination. As we're about to hear from Sam McColgan from Ulster, getting there proved to be tricky enough. Beyond that, Sam tells us about her early impressions of a sport she's just taken up. You'll also hear from the Connacht captain.
I've been loving it. I'm only new to the game as well, so that's my debut. So it was really good games to get on and get started on.
Your debut, was it?
Yeah.
Well, you seem to be pretty confident there. You were given a task of making sure the defence held up, and you're enjoying it so far.
I'm absolutely loving it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. What is it that you enjoy about it?
Everything is just the inclusivity of it all, and like you just get to go out. You don't on the court. You don't have a disability. You're just another player, and everybody's just in the same wavelength. So it's brilliant. It's just fast paced.
It's fiercely competitive, isn't it?
It's really competitive, which suits me down the ground because I'm really competitive.
Yeah. So would you have a personal history with sport aside from wheelchair hurling?
I run a marathon on like 5 days before I went on the wheelchair. So I would have been in sports, in the sports, but never hurling. And I have a basketball background now as well. So I played the wheelchair basketball.
How did you find the wheelchair basketball?
Very good, but I actually enjoy the hurling a lot better.
What's it about the hurling then that gives you that bit more interest?
I don't know. I think it's just more team related. Like basketball would be as well, but because there's so much like movement, passing and movement, I think it's just more team related on the same one. I prefer this.
It looks like it's physically intense enough. Would you be breathing hard by the end of it?
Oh, you definitely do. If you're not breathing hard, you're not working fast enough.
Fair enough. So you've got a couple of more games to go today, am I right?
We have one more game now after this. We're on actually next.
Okay, and after that then it's a long road home for everyone, I presume. Is it worth the journey?
It's definitely worth the journey, but what should have took us 3.5 hours took us 6 yesterday, so travel wise we're not very good with directions.
Took you 6?
6 hours, we got lost. We zigzagged down Ireland. Nowhere to LA.
It's good though to have those adventures around the competition as well, so you'll remember the weekend.
That's it. I made it lighthearted of it, so we were ready to go when we got here.
Alright, and who's your last game against?
Munster.
Okay, so tough one.
Very, very tough, but we can do it.
Pat Carty, Sligo, captain of the Connacht wheelchair hurling team.
You just finished up the first match of today in Kilbeggan against Ulster, and a really good result for your team. What are your reflections on the game?
In fairness, we're down a few lads, but we played well. Happy enough with the performance. Normally our first game, no matter where we're playing, we'd be slow to get out of the traps. But in fairness, we're happy enough with our performance so far. Yeah. Okay. A great venue, super facilities here, lovely hall and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous spot, isn't it? In terms of the next game, who have you got next? Is it Leinster or Munster?
We're playing Munster next. Munster would be on fire now this year. In fairness, it'll give it all to. But look, if everyone, no one person will win the match. It's 6 lads or girls, whatever, on a team, and everyone has to be contributing to win. Look at Munster going well. We'll give it a good shot. If we play as good as we did in the first, I'd be confident, of keeping them tight, and keeping the scores fairly tight.
I was very impressed with Munster in their first game against Leinster. They've 1 or 2 special players, don't they?
Oh, they have, in fairness. I suppose, look, to be fair with Connacht, with us, we're struggling for numbers the whole time, and we probably take it casual. But in fairness, this year now we've got a new coach, Dave Cunningham there, and we seem to have up the ante a bit. We can do better, but we're just a little bit lax. But no, Munster, in fairness, they put a serious amount of time in, and it shows on them. Yeah.
From your own perspective, how long have you been playing the sport?
It must be nearly 12 years now. and like I've been in the wheelchair about 36 years, and I would have played hurling, you know, back in the day. But like it's on the go. About from the start, I'd be involved with it. But it's a great sport. Like it's a pity it wasn't going 25-30 years ago, because I would be involved from the start. Like, yeah, it's a great sport, great workout, and you know, you meet from all over the country. Like, it's great to come out to. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I noticed that getting here early, everyone arriving is really friendly and familiar with each other, and then when the ball's thrown in, it's a different kettle of fish.
Oh, it's there's no friends on the pitch, only the same lads with your own jersey. Yeah, I know, but it's great. It's lovely, and like it's great. Like, you know, here today in this facility, it's an excellent facility, and in fairness, you know, thanks to all the officials, like they do pick good facilities. But you know, we move it around, you know, in the different provinces, move it around to the different clubs. So hopefully, if there was someone in a wheelchair in the area or whatever, you know, that they could come, that it'd be accessible, and they could come and hopefully maybe the following year or whatever join up with us.
Final question. You're representing your province here. They played the national anthem at the start of these events. That must give you a fair bit of pride to be a Connacht captain and to be competing against the other provinces.
It is, like, to me, to be fair, you know, when this wheelchair hurling started 10-12 years ago, you know, I never thought you'd be playing a GAA game again, and like to be captain of the team, you know, and as you says here, the national anthem we played, it really, you know, it makes you feel 10 foot tall. Like, yeah, I know, it's a great honour.
Okay, let's go back to Pat Leinau. Remember, he's the chair of Leinster GAA Games for All Committee, and he's been the main driver of wheelchair hurling in the province. Nearly everyone I spoke to voiced their concern about playing numbers. I asked Pat what can be done from the administrator's perspective to improve the situation.
Yeah, every province is different now, and I was talking to Martin Byrne there for a while, who's chairman of Coaching and Games in Leinster, and who will be the next chairman of Leinster. And like, ideally, we in Leinster, with the size of the province, we're going to need 3 hubs, really. We're going to need one in Dublin, one in North Leinster, one in South Leinster. And the Coaching and Games, you know, is divided that way. There's three personnel in the 3 provinces, or in the 3 hubs around the province, and I think we just need to organise on that, because we train every week in Mountmellick. Now, when I started at this first, our team was mostly Dublin based.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, then it was a mix, and I think I'm on my 3rd sort of new team, and they're based mostly around Westmeath, Laois and Offaly this time.
And if anyone listening thinks that they might actually want to get involved, that they're not as active as they'd like to be, be it through disability, they're in a chair or something like that, how do they actually go about heading down to one of these sessions, or indeed getting involved in these interprovincial blitzes?
Yeah, there's no problem getting involved. We'd love to have more people, obviously. If they contact me, James Devan, or anyone in Coaching and Games in the province, they'll be very, very happy to direct them towards our Coaching and Games hubs. Or we actually train in Mountmellick at the minute on a Friday evening, which is lovely, and a fantastic facility there, and they're very good to us.
I can see now Connacht and Munster have gotten back underway. Yeah. Some special talents out there. Maurice Noonan for Munster, unbelievable, and Leinster have a couple of tidy players as well.
Yeah, Maurice Noonan is an exceptional talent. Now, Ulster have some great players as well, but there's other players in Munster, and like Connacht have a fair team today now, and the last day they were well. They had a good team the last day, and ably led by a man called Pat Carty, who's a superman.
I was chatting to him about an hour ago,
yeah.
And you can see he enjoys every second he's here.
He sure does, and he's an example to any young lad. Now we have 3 or 4 new young lads: Niall Cray, Jack Duncan, Michael Dennedy, all new fellas. Conor Duffy from Moat is a year or 2 with us. Stephen Robbins from up the road here in Brackland, which is quite near Quebec in here, he's with us. And then we have the old stagers, the goalkeeper Sean Bennett, and Alec Henbury, who's been with us for many, many years.
Well, I can tell you Sean's a great ambassador for the game of wheelchair hurling.
Absolutely. And he's a great man on the text, he's a great man on the phone, and he would annoy you at times, but it's all in a good cause.
That's great stuff, Pat. I much appreciate you taking the time to chat to us. The best of luck with the rest of today, anyway. And
can I just say thanks again to the Mercy Secondary here. It's an absolutely fabulous facility, and we wish them well into the future, and they have been very gracious and great, and we are very grateful to have the facility.
Let's finish up with the person that got health and fitness involved in the first place. Here's the All-Star winning keeper for Leinster, and watching him in action on Saturday in their win over Connacht, you can certainly see why he picked up that award. I'm joined by Sean Bennett, Leinster keeper, after they picked up their first win of the day at this interprovincial contest here in Kilbeggan. Sean, must be great for the team and yourself to get that win on the last game of the day.
It certainly is great to get one win out of the three, but anyway, we're lucky to get the win on the day. The first game was just so competitive, and they were just so brilliant with the shots that were just nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, there's some mighty skill on display in these games, and you made a couple of really important interventions in that last game, stopping goals from going in to help secure Leinster that win.
Yeah, it just happened to be in the way, I think, David. Just lucky to be in the way, I guess, because there were some rockets that were coming in there, and I don't blame myself too much. The defence in front of me, I can blame them somewhat too, you know what I mean?
Do you know what I noticed watching it as well is there's a great blend of ages through these teams. So, you've got some really young kids playing in your team, and you're able to impart just a little bit of wisdom here, bits and pieces here and there. You must really enjoy that dynamic where you can pass something on and help them as they're growing and developing.
I do try and pass it on, but they just don't be listening to me, I'm afraid, David. But anyway, yeah, I do enjoy trying to. The younger player, like with young in there, he's only 15, and he's just a joy to watch, and he's going to be so skillful going forward, and they're the future. Yeah. I'm gone past it, really and truly, I'm gone past it.
But I suppose it's not about where you're at in terms of athleticism or anything like that. It's competing and being part of the team.
Absolutely. I love being part of the team and competing again, like you say. Yeah, it's really a joy. I love it.
Well, look,
and like what you said about the disabilities and the abilities that we all have, they all differ. But it's just great to see so many people with different disabilities out there enjoying what we play.
Yeah, and it's a great equaliser of the sport. Everyone's in the same situation when the ball's thrown in.
Absolutely, yeah, it's great.
Look, you invited us down here last time we spoke on the phone, so I just wanted to thank you for that. I've really enjoyed the day here, and we wish you the best. Where's the next leg taking place?
The next leg is in Roscommon. I'm not sure of the actual townland, and it is a joy to have you here watching, because I knew you'd have to see it to really see the competitiveness of it, and it's just such a joy to watch.
Right, well look, good luck in Connacht, and we might catch up with you for the All-Ireland.
Okie doke, in the All-Ireland in Carlow in some part of September. So thanks again, David, for your help.
Paralympic Games in Paris is just around the corner. Cycling Ireland and Paralympics Ireland have announced the cycling national, or the paracycling teams, and we're very glad to say that Josephine Healy will be representing Offaly and Tullamore at the Paralympic Games when they come up at the end of the summer. Josephine, you will have been working towards this target and this goal for quite a while. So now that it's official and that you're going to be a Paralympic athlete, what are your feelings?
Yeah, I suppose like you said, it was set a long time ago now. So almost 3 years ago from when we set this goal. And I suppose all the way along, I was kind of focusing on what the next event was, because obviously everything lines up to pitch up to get into this position to be selected. So now that I'm here, yeah, it's a little bit of a pinch me moment, but at the same time, a lot of hard work has gone into it. So a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's changed my whole life, really. So it's just phenomenal and I'm so honoured to be selected to represent Ireland. It's just a fantastic thing to be able to say you've done in your lifetime. So it hasn't full on hit me yet, I don't think. And a friend of mine actually said to me that it mightn't hit me till it's all over, which that could well be the case. But yeah, I'm just delighted. I'm fully ecstatic with excitement.
Yeah, it's something to really look forward to, not just from your perspective, but for everyone who follows cycling across the Midlands. In terms of the races you'll be involved in, the individual time trial and the road race as well, am I right in saying that?
So I will be doing track and road. So the velodrome in Paris is where the track will be held. There's 2 events there that I will be participating in and competing in. So that's The first is the 1 kilometre time trial, which is an all-out 1 kilometre effort. The pursuit is a 3 kilometre pursuit, so that's 12 laps of the velodrome. Again, very high intensity, and it's about balance there. So not digging a hole that you can't get out of in the first 4 laps, but that you're able to, consistent give a energy to the whole 12 laps is it's a bit of a balancing act. And then the road, then I will be doing the time trial on the road and the road race as well. So they're the 2 road events.
Well, you've got your hands full anyway. Is there one event that you're kind of feeling most confident about at the moment?
Most confident about probably would be the road race is probably where I'm most comfortable, definitely. And where myself as an athlete has kind of shown in the past that I'm medal potential in. So that's really exciting. And that's probably where I kind of most confident and comfortable with. Otherwise, road is probably where I am most confident at the moment. I suppose track for me, I'm still reasonably new to the track. Last year being my first World Championships on the track. So we kind of are getting a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more, zoning in on what we actually need to be, where we actually want to be on the track. But yeah, there's still it's still it's still an event. I suppose I'm not 100% at my best at, I suppose, yet. But yeah, definitely getting there. But yeah, definitely my most comfortable and confident would be the road. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose from your perspective, you're going to try keep an open, positive mind for every single time that you get onto
Absolutely.
the bike when you're over there. So how's training working at the moment? Presumably you're still doing a fair bit of hard training. Will you start to taper down and let the body freshen up when it comes to the week of the events or a little bit beforehand? How does that work?
Yeah, so like that at the moment, training is still full on. So right up until we actually leave on the 7th of August for Portugal, and we go to Portugal for 2 weeks prior to the games. And the first week of that will probably be heavy duty as well, and the second week will probably be lesser so. We'll probably start to pull back a little bit in the second week. We arrive in Paris on the 21st, and the opening ceremony isn't until the 28th, and my first competition isn't until the 30th. So yeah, we still will be training while in Paris, but it will be reduced. So it'll definitely be kind of lighter stuff, just to kind of maintain what we have built up over the last number of years. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
that's the plan. You say the 30th is your first event. That is absolutely no time away. It's
no.
It must feel very close now. And if you're going away on the 7th to Portugal for this camp, that's really when you're not back here after that until after the Paralympic Games.
Correct. Yeah. So we don't arrive back till the 9th of September in Dublin. So yeah, it'll be quite exciting when we leave, because we won't be back for the guts of a month. So yeah.
That's it's something genuinely exciting and something to look forward to. And then obviously with the start of the Olympic Games over the course of the weekend, has that kind of added into your own internal excitement? You're hearing stories about Irish athletes and in competition on the world stage, and that'll be yourself in a few short weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Olympics, like every summer when I was younger, I always remember specifically the games coming on the telly, because you'd be watching it, be stuck to the telly really for some of the events. So yeah, definitely I am, like, it's really exciting, especially because it is so close. Like Paris is so close, and there isn't a massive time difference thing going on either. And it's been well recorded, and it, like, on all the social medias, you can, it's great. It's actually fantastic. And yeah, it is definitely building up towards my excitement to getting going. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, this is it. You'll be part of the picture, as it were, that we'll all be following when it comes to the Paralympic Games. When you get there, You mentioned that maybe the road race could be the place where you stand the best chance of chasing down a medal. So is that the standing target? You'd love to come back to Ireland with a medal from the games?
Oh, absolutely. It kind of always has been. Yeah, like that would be for me. That would be just phenomenal. That'd be a dream come true, really. But yeah, it's not something that's not possible. So yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah, for sure.
Well, there's a fair bit of training to get done yet. You've got to hop across a couple of countries as well. So we're going to wish you the very best with all of that. We appreciate you taking the call here today. And congratulations as well on the call up and making the games.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Next up, you'll hear from the man pulling a dialysis machine across the country to raise thousands of euro for the Irish Kidney Association.
Health and fitness
with DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Experience lightning fast delivery and unbeatable service for all your sporting needs at DS Sports. With gear ready in as little as 5 days. Contact 085 87 15 311 or info@dssports.ie.
Midlands 103.
There's been a man. He's been cycling through Westmeath this week, pulling a dialysis machine behind him. Peter Conboy is undertaking a journey from Temple Street Children's Hospital to the Circle of Life Garden in Galway over the course of this week. So far, he's raised over €4,000 for the Irish Kidney Association. Peter's wife, Liz, underwent a kidney transplant 22 years ago after being diagnosed with kidney failure as a teenager. He's encouraging everyone to become organ donors, and he's been telling Midlands 103's Rachel Timoney about his story.
My main motivation is my wife, Liz. At the age of 14, she was diagnosed with kidney failure. Unfortunately, by the time she was diagnosed, both kidneys had failed, so she had no alternative but to go on dialysis. She was on dialysis for 6 months. That was 11 hours a day for 6 days a week, so it was pretty intense for a 14-year-old, I suppose. A lot of people are kind of under the illusion that it's only elderly people that might be affected by this kind of thing, but it's really not the case, and Liz can vouch for that. A dialysis machine, for those that don't know, a dialysis machine filters the blood and is essentially your kidneys until you get a transplant. Luckily enough, Liz has had hers 22 years now, and all is good. We'll be ever grateful for her donor and the family that made the most selfless decision when their lives were turned upside down. But look, we will be forever grateful. It was the best gift Liz will ever have in her life. The transplants allowed Liz to live a normal life without any restrictions. She's been able to go to college, travel, we've lived abroad. That would have been very hard, if not impossible, if she was still on dialysis. So I'm going to be encouraging everybody along my travels to pick up a donor card that we'll be handing out. You can note consent on their driver's license, or even there's an organ donor app as well. On my cycle, I'm going to be promoting the IKA, all the services that they give to patients and their families, and I'm going to be pushing organ donation as well. 1 in 10 people are affected by kidney disease in Ireland, so it's actually quite common. The IKA, I suppose I'll get into that. They give a wide range of services for patients and their families. Say for people travelling huge distances across the country, they'll try and help them get accommodation for clinics, or even, pre-transplant, they'll try and get them accommodation for them and their families. They provide counselling, holiday homes for people on dialysis. I suppose people, like I mentioned, it'd be hard to get away if you were on dialysis. So what the IKA actually have is a series of homes around the country, and they're kitted out for people that are on dialysis, and they will help you to try and arrange everything before you go. It's absolutely a gem of a service, and anybody that is a patient or a family member, I'd strongly advise them to join their local IKA branch. You'll get a wealth of knowledge from other members as well. It's brilliant, and there's lovely like-minded people, and we're all there for the same purpose.
And you said there, thankfully, Liz is more than 20 years since her transplant, and she's doing very well ever since. But what is the impact of someone who is either waiting on a kidney transplant, or if the transplant should fail? What is life like for someone living in that situation?
Yeah, look, life is very different. There's a lot of restrictions. There's what people are called small ones that they'd They might have to change diet. That could be a big thing for some people, but you really have to restrict your diet. Then there's different types of dialysis. There's hemodialysis, which means you have to go into a clinic. That involves you sitting down on that hemo machine that I'm going to bring with me for 4 hours for 3 days a week. Like, that's a huge impact on people that have to work, and it's a big change of lifestyle. You know, you'd have to really allow your full day for that. Then the PD machine as well, like Liz is on that for 11 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's very intense. You're really restricted to where and what you can do. But look, the people that are on it, they're grateful. They're so appreciative of the help they're getting from all the nurses and that. In the clinics, they're fantastic. And they're grateful for being here and being on dialysis. But what a gift it would be to get that the organ. From speaking to a few members from my local IKA branch, everybody remembers that phone call. They remember exactly what they were doing, what they had for breakfast that day. It's just a day to remember.
And what would you like, I suppose, the general public to know about transplant, what it means to be an organ donor and why they should sign up to become one?
Well, look, I'll make it simple. One person can save 8 lives. Isn't that absolutely huge? Like, what's it to anybody to carry a card in their pocket? The way I look at it is, they're no good to me if something happened to me. So I could potentially save 8 people. That's the way I look at it. And it's no harm.
And why don't you tell us a bit more about the route itself? How far are you going to be travelling and where else are you going to be stopping?
Let me see. So the Cycle of Life, it's to symbolise the journey of patients on dialysis towards the hope of a life-saving transplant. So I'll be starting off at Temple Street. Saturday the 3rd, I'll be going from Athlone to Ballinasloe to Loughrea. And we'll be stopping in Ballinasloe that day, probably at the top of the square, weather pending. Sunday the 4th, I'll be going from Loughrea to the Circle of Life Garden in Galway, and that's where we'll finish up. The Circle of Life Garden, it's an organ donor commemorative garden. It's a place for families and recipients to reflect. Beautiful garden and well looked after by volunteers, and it's absolutely fantastic there in Salt Hill. And I look forward to seeing anybody that's available to come out and show a bit of support. It'd be great to have you.
You're undertaking a massive cycle, you said, from Temple Street to that garden in Salt Hill, from Dublin to Galway. So have you been training very hard for this?
Yeah, I've been training. Myself and Liz Liz looks after herself as good as she can to look after herself and the kidney. So we do go to the gym a couple of times a week, and I have been out cycling. However, I don't know what's going to prepare somebody for this kind of an endurance event, but I've been doing what I can. Like, when I look at it, it's like pulling a washing machine behind a bike. It just looks wrong. It probably is wrong aerodynamically and every other way. But I'm just going to persevere. Stubbornness will get me over the line, hopefully.
Is it heavy? I mean, I wouldn't be particularly familiar with what a dialysis machine looks like. So can you paint us a picture of what it looks like to cycle with one behind you?
It's about the opposite of a tin of baked beans. It's massive. It was 85 kilos when I got it, and it was about as tall as myself. Now, I had to modify it to get it to fit in the trailer, so I had to take off the stand. But it is still rather heavy, and if there's a bit of a breeze out at all, it feels like there's a sail pulling you back. But that symbolises the journey that transplant patients take as well. Like, they're struggling until they get to the end. And that's what I'm going to be doing as well. But it's worth it. I'm going to fight on, and I'm going to do what I can to raise a few pounds for everybody and raise awareness as well along the way.
Yeah, at the time of recording, Peter is just a couple of £100 from reaching his fundraising target. If you'd like to help him hit that £5,000 goal for the Irish Kidney Association, then simply head to idonate.ie, Cycle of Life, and hit the donate button. Best of luck to Peter on the last couple of days of his epic journey to the Galway Circle of Life Garden. That's our lot for another week on health and fitness. Where does the time go, I ask you? Once again, a big thanks to everyone who contributed to this week's show, specifically to Sean for giving me a lift to Kilbeggan, to Mercy Secondary School for hosting us, and to Leinster GA for putting on a brilliant event. Thanks to Josephine Healy and for taking time out of her busy training schedule ahead of the Paralympic Games to chat to us. We've everything crossed. The games in Paris go great for her and Team Ireland. And of course to Rachel Timoney for her chat with Peter Comboy. I'll be back with you next week.